Hi, I'm Max. Nice to meet everyone. I guess the viewers in this case. I'm Max, CEO and founder of B-Side Games, a German-based game studio. We've been working on several games over the past couple of years and are consisting of many different industry veterans from the traditional game industry. But today we're actually going to talk about Chainmonsters. And Chainmonsters is pretty much a massive multiplayer online experience in a style of like Pokemon, World of Warcraft, pretty much mixing those two like games and some other ones together. We've been pretty much been dreaming about this project for quite some time. In my case, 20 years actually, ever since I want to become a game developer myself, to have something like this pretty much in place. And what you do in the game is basically it's a full-fledged massive multiplayer online RPG. So you're actually not alone on your journey. You're catching creatures called Chainmonsters. There are 163 of them in total are going to be in the game. We are currently in a pre-beta stage. We have had our closed alpha phase in the last 6 months basically. We've accumulated over 70,000 players up to this date, and the majority actually came in over the course of this year. And why that is and how we achieve that, I'm going to explain a little bit later. But for now, let's go back to the game a little bit. So we have this massive open world, and you are pretty much teaming up with thousands of other players simultaneously. You're venturing through the story, you're meeting awesome and pretty exciting characters, and you're expanding your collection of Chainmonsters you're actually catching the game, as well as super rare rewards you are collecting as part of your journey. And in order to achieve all of this, basically we have to combine two different systems together. One of the systems is coming from the traditional side, which are traditional highly scalable game servers and architectures basically, and infrastructures, of course, but also state-of-the-art blockchain technology on Flow. And the blockchain part in Chainmonsters is basically we're trying to enforce scarcity for Chainmonsters, for items, for rewards, and everything you can achieve in the game. But also we want to encourage a completely and player-driven economy. And this is all possible on Flow, of course, and we're going to explain how and why that is the case. One of our core goals in building Chainmonsters is actually a pretty great and pretty much the best possible user experience for the players. And in order to explain how we can do that, we have to look back a little bit where we come from, because this is pretty important. And as I mentioned before, we are a traditional game studio. Our team members, including myself, of course, have between 10 and 20 years of game development experience in the professional game industry. B-Side Games itself was founded in 2017. And this is right up when the NFT hype and everything else kind of started. We were actually, I guess, one of the early adopters of the NFT standard. And we released a super small prototype of Chainmonsters in January 2018. This was on Ethereum back then, and if you have been part of the crypto space, you realize that back in 2017, 2018, the whole crypto space was kind of different than it is today. And back then, we were quickly realizing that there are some issues with like scalability, with the user experience, and pretty much everything you kind of need to have in place for production ready and successful project. And what we did is we actually looked at other projects in this space, including CryptoKitties from Dapper Labs. And they apparently were looking at the same issues. They had the same issues, and we got in touch with them, I think in 2019. And they were talking about a super secret new project, which turned out to become Flow, the Flow blockchain. And through this, we pretty much became one of the early adopters and one of the first projects on Flow itself. In early 2020, we've been working with them since then closely together, and we had some pretty nice experiences since then. As the game itself has, from numbers wise, I guess, has been doing incredibly well in the last 2 years. We are completely self-funded. I guess this is important to mention. So everything we are doing, we've been pretty much achieving through our own means, our own workforce, our own funding, which we provided, which myself and others pretty much provided internally. So what we were trying to do is we try to incorporate the community into our processes. And this not only includes funding, of course, but also game design and some choices and everything. So we went to Kickstarter, and Kickstarter happened in October of 2020, where we basically raised 100,000 US dollars from, I believe, 714 different backers. I think back in October 2020, we had about 1,000 players, like around that kind of like number. So we were kind of fairly small. But over the course between October and fast forward to today, September of 2021, and I guess today, October, we have accumulated more than 70,000 players. And this is in a game state where we are not like live yet on like Steam or like any other platform. Everything we have been achieving in this time frame has been thanks to the collaboration with Flow, thanks to our own efforts, of course, thanks to ourselves including everyone into the project and doing fairly transparent work over the past 2 years. The momentum we've been able to create, and the hype itself has been massive. And this is actually, and the reason we were able to do this actually has like a few reasons. So the question really is why are people playing Chainmonsters and why they are kind of in love with the game by now? And I guess one of the core reasons is just on the game side. If you look at the game, we could launch this game on, for example, Steam or the App Store without the whole blockchain or NFT part, and people would still play it because the game we are creating and the game we have been working on in the past 5 years is actually fun and engaging. If you talk to anyone to anyone who has been like playing the game itself, you basically have like a massive multiplayer online experience. You have role-playing elements. You have a continuous game world, and well, a player-driven economy now. This is like a pretty important for us because most other projects in the so-called crypto space, they're not really doing any. They're like kind of trying to raise money, and then they are pretending to deliver in years down the line. And we've been always doing the other way around. First, we're working on the game, our actual product. Then we're raising funds, and then we are pretty much including the community in the whole process through Kickstarter, but also our Discord, for example, and our whole community. From a technical point of view, I guess there are a few more reasons why we're actually seeing the success we see today. One of them is, of course, being on Flow, because through Flow, we're actually able to onboard users in the background to our game. So when you download the game on, for example, iOS or Steam, you just download it, hit play, and boom, you're in the game world. Later on, you can connect your external wallet service like Blockdo, for example, or any other non-custodial wallet, and you gain full control of your assets and the game world. I'm actually told that we are a little bit, we don't have that much time left, so I'm going to skip a few sections. There's, of course, some gameplay and some game elements I would like to share. So let me just quickly switch over to my screen. If you have never seen Chainmonsters yet, this is basically how our current beta version is looking like. We're actually launching in a closed beta in late November. If you're part of the FlowFest experience, then you're basically able to gain closed beta access throughout our drop in November, and also through the mystery pack, which is, I think, dropping also pretty soon. And you can see we have like a pretty unique and stylized look, and we are, of course, improving everything over time. And we are listening to the community for feedback. if you look at the screenshots, we can pretty much see some of our Chainmonsters, for example, some water-based elemental Chainmonsters, as well as like a huge open game world, which leaves you enough space to discover everything, and basically incorporates anything you've been kind of like dreaming about for the last 20 years. Connecting all of those game elements with like the player-driven economy and the NFTs enables, I think, a pretty unique game experience that we can't wait to pretty much show everyone very soon. And with that, I think I'm going to end the presentation here. And if you want to find out more about the game, go to chainmonsters.com, join our Discord, participate in the Flow ecosystem and the Flowverse events, and yeah, be part of our experience.